Iba Jaya Jaya Gura Chande Aratika Shobha Jaya Gura Chande Aratika Shobha Jana Vitata Vane Jagamana Loba Jana Vitata Vane Jagamana Loba Akine Itai Chan Amegara Tara Akine Itai Chan Amegara Tara Nikate Advita Srini Vasa Chatradara Osi Achikura Chan Radna Simhasane Arati Koren Brahma Aridevagane Nara Hari Hari Kori Dhammaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Tosharigaya Shankar Vadiganta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Madhura Mrindanga Bhaje Paramarasala Aho Koti Chandra Jini Parana Ujvala Kalahadeshe Vannamala Kore Jalamala Shiva Shukanarada Preme Gada Gada Akati Vinoda Deke Ora Samphara Namahom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashkatyadi Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pravirajagacharya Astatara Shatta Shri Shri Madesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pravirajagacharya Astatara Shatta Shri Shri Mad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Go Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananti Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sako Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Maya Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru Enguranga.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Allah Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Shilatankana Kalaya Ito Singha Parato Singha Parato Singha Ahi Singho Hridaye Singho Narasimhamadi Sharadhe Avakara Kamalavare Adbhuta Shringa Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavatrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Avakarakamalavare Makam Advuta Shringam Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Lord Nrsimhadev Ki Jai Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita class. Start with our introduction prayer on page 1. Omaganya Dharmadasya Gyanya Janya Shalakya Chaturumita Nina Tasme Shigurve Namaha Chaitanya Manopishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kara Mayam Datati Swapatitikam. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kalamam Shri Guruna Vaismascha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatnavitam Tasajivam Savetam Sadhutam Pariyajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishkasvintam Stascha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto those feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita and Acharya, Gadharsh, Srivasa, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates, Sri Latita and Vishaka. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jakapate Kopisha Kopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namo Sute. Oh, my dear Krishna, you're the friend of the distress and the source of all of creation. You're the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapa Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vispanusvare Vispanu Sute Devi Pranamame Hare Praye. I offer my respectful respects to Radharani, whose body complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vishbanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Pancha kapada varyascha, kripa sindhu bhaya evascha, patitanam padvayo vaishnavayo namo namaha. Offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Veta Gadhar, Shri Vasti Gaur Bhaktavinda. Offer my obeisances to Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Veta Gadhar, Shri Vasa, and all others in the line of devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are on chapter 3, Karma Yoga. I believe we're starting at verse 5 today. Is that right? Yep, okay. Here at Rupanuga Vedic College, we go through 11 verses, read the Sanskrit translation, and we try to get through all the purports. This way, we hear the Bhagavad Gita every 3 months. The full Bhagavad Gita every 3 months. Okay, verse 5. Nahi kashit kasam api jatu tishati akamavakit karyate hi avasya karma sarva parti jergune. Oh, that's a tough one. All men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Text 6. Kamandrayani samanyamya yasti manasya smaram indrayatathan vimdubat mudhatma Nityacharya sat uchyate. Translation: one who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells in sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Text 7. Yasta Indrayani Manasya Niyam Yapate Arjuna Karmendriya Karma Yogam Asakta Sa Vishishyate. Translation: on the other hand, he who controls the senses by the mind and engages his active organs in works of devotion without attachment is by far superior. Text 8. Nayatam kuru karantam karma jaya yohi akarmana karya yatra pichate napashyat yed akarmana. Translation: perform your prescribed duty, for action is better than inaction. A man cannot maintain his physical body without work. Text 9. Yagya Datta Karmano Neyatra Lokayam Karma Bandhana Tadartam Karma Kanteya Mukta Sangha Samachara. Translation: work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds one to this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. In that way, you will always remain unattached and free from bondage. Text 10. Saha yajna prajashitva prulavacha prajapati enena prasasisyat hadvam eshavoshat ishtakama Dahuk. Translation: in the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you all desirable things." Text 11. Devam bhavanyat Tanena te deva bhavayanta diva parasparam bhavayanta shriya param avaspayata. The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you. Thus, nourishing one another, they will reign general prosperity for all. Text 12. Ishtam bogan hi vo deva dasyanti yagya pavita kirdyaktan apadayat payo yo bhunkti stena evasa. Translation: in change of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna sacrifice, supply all necessities to man. But he who enjoys these gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. Text 13. Yagya shishastina santo muchanyate savakubasheshe unjante tidbad agam papa ye panchante atma karantnat. Translation: the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. Text 14. Ananbhavanti bhutani prajanyat anasambhavha yagya bhavati prajanyo yagya karma sambhudava. All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains produced by performance of yagya, sacrifice, and yagya is born of prescribed duties. Text 15. Karma brahmoda bhavam vidi, brahmakshara samuda bhavam, tashmat sarvakatam brahma, nityam yagya pradishitam. Translation: regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is essentially situated in acts of sacrifice. Our final text this evening, text 16. Evam parapatitam chakram nanuvatrayatitaya agyatya indrayat aramo mogyam parta sajivati. Translation: my dear Arjuna, a man who does not follow this prescribed Vedic system of sacrifice certainly leads a life of sin, for a person delighting only in the senses lives in vain. Turning back to text 5. Text 5, translation. All men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It's not a question of the embodied life, but it is the nature of the soul to be always active. Without the presence of the spirit soul, the material body cannot move. The body is only a dead vehicle to be worked by the spirit soul, which is always active and cannot stop even for a moment. As such, the spirit soul has to be engaged in good work of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it'd be engaged in occupation dictated by illusionary energy. In contact with material energy, the spirit soul acquires material modes. And to purify the soul from such affinities, it is necessary to engage in the prescribed duties enjoined in the sastras. But if the soul is engaged in his natural function of Krishna consciousness, whatever he is able to do is good for him. Srimad Bhagavatam affirms this. Chiyaktasya dharman charabhujam harhir Prajan apakvotat patta tato yadi yatra kavat vabhatram abud amushakyam kovartapto pajatam swam dharmata. If someone takes to Krishna consciousness, even though he may not follow the prescribed duties in the sastras, nor execute the devotional service properly, and even though he may fall down from the standard, there is no loss for or evil for him. But if he carries out all the injunctions for purification in the sastras, what does it avail him if he is not Krishna conscious? So the purificatory process is necessary for reaching this point of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, sannyasa, or any purificatory process, is to help each reach the ultimate goal of becoming Krishna conscious, without which everything is considered a failure. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. All men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of their modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. That's what we're all born into this world because of our past actions. We're caught up in this cycle, birth and death, this cycle of karma. What we're desiring now is a direct result of our past desires in previous lives. The struggles that we are going through in this life, we probably went through the same struggles in our previous lives, and we're going to be going through the same struggles in our future lives. We are the manufacturers of our own suffering. We're fully responsible for it. Karma Yoga. Oh, Pornitai Ki Jai. Krishna consciousness, that way to transcend karma, transcend this binding attachment to this material world. Because all of our actions that we do, everything that we desire materially is binding us to this world, is entangling us further into this world if we're not acting in Krishna consciousness. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It all has karmic reactions. Whether you're doing good things in the world, whether you're doing bad things in the world, you're being bound by it. In this modern day of New Age philosophy, you find those that are out there trying to do good things, to do good deeds, to get good karma. That's just ensuring that they're just bound in this world. And yeah, you're going to get better rewards. Yeah, that's nice. You get a better prison cell. You get the, maybe promoted to heavenly planets for some time. Get a nice cell there. Get a, nice, fluffy pillow, nice bed, nice food stuff, nice view from your window. You're still trapped in this material world, destined to fall again, fall back down. That's the only thing that good karma gets you. Is just sense gratification. You just get a better cell to do it in, better body to do it in. Then eventually you fall back down. Krishna consciousness is trying to break us free from this cycle of being bound in these cells. Because good karma, bad karma, whatever you want to, call it. Our actions give us, are creating our future body. Everything that we do, everything that we desire is creating our next body or in our next lifetime. So if we're acting in the material platform, acting in the material way, being bound by karma, we're guaranteed to have the next body in this material world. There's 8,400,000 forms of life, different cells that you can be reborn into. God's in the recycling process. He likes to recycle things. Souls are recycled pretty easily like that. According to your past actions, that's the body you're going to get. one of 8,400,000 forms of species. The human body is very rare, extremely rare. Examples I like to give is, there's so many jivas, so many souls waiting for a human body because it's so precious. The only way that we can make spiritual advancement, because all these other forms, all these other bodies are just prison cells that we're spending time in, carrying out our sentence because of our past actions. So just take like the ant, the common ant. There's estimated to be 40 quadrillion ants on Earth. That's a lot of souls. That's a lot of jivas waiting for a human body. That's just one species in the insect kingdom. Think about all the other species out there, the 8,400,000 forms waiting for a human body. That's how precious human life is. That's how, we have this human life. Don't want to waste it. Because if we make a mistake in this human form and fall back down into, take the chance of falling back down into animal or insect or bacteria, who knows how long it's going to be before we get a human form again. I like to think of, the amusement parks. You ever been to the amusement parks? The really big amusement parks like Disney World and Six Flags. You get these big rides. The best rides have the longest lines to them. Sometimes you got to wait hours in line. But if you pay a little extra, you get a fast pass and get to the front of the line. That's what bhakti yoga is. That's what Krishna consciousness is. Even though if you don't get purified in this lifetime, you get a fast pass back to human birth. It saves you from being entangled, back into the animal kingdom. Saves you from all kinds of miseries. Move on to text 6. One who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Purport. There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness, but make a show of meditation, while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak on dry philosophy in order to bluff sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, these are greatest cheaters. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of social order, but if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. But he who makes a show of being a yogi while actually searching for the objects of sense gratification must be called the greatest cheater, even though the effects of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusionary energy of the Lord. Oh, sorry, I sometimes have a tendency to do that. Where did I skip? Okay. The greatest cheater, even though he sometimes speaks of this philosophy. Sorry about that. His knowledge has no value because the effects of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusionary energy of the Lord. Such a pretender mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. You find these sorts of rascals in this world. You have, everyone's especially with these online platform these days on YouTube and TikTok, you have all these, self-proclaimed gurus telling you how to live life, Gotta be very careful. So many pretenders out there that think that they can, teach others how to, live, how to have self-realization when they don't even have self-realization themselves. They're all lost in this world. Text 7. On the other hand, he who controls the senses by the mind and engages his active organs and works to devotion without attachment is by far superior. Purport. Instead of becoming a pseudo-transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain in one's own business and execute the purposes of life, which is to get free from material bondage and enter into the kingdom of God. The prime Svartha Gati, or goal of self-interest, is to reach Vishnu. The whole institution of Varna Ashram is designed to help us reach this goal of life. A householder can reach this destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. For self-realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Sastras and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and that way make progress. Such a sincere, pure person who follows this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adopts the show bottle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. And sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. One who controls the senses by the mind and engages his active organs, works of devotion without attachment is by far superior. Controlling the senses. That's what we have this Maha Mantra. It's helping us to take control of our senses. This path of Bhakti Yoga. As I was talking about yesterday in class, we were focusing in on, doing our daily rounds, 16 rounds a day, 108 beads. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To train our mind to be focused on the sound of vibration alone, to not be distracted by thoughts. It's this training of the mind. It's very important to overcome sense gratification, because the mind is going to pull us in all different kinds of different directions. The mind is used to being the one in control, saying, hey, here I am, look at me. I want this, I want that. It's too hot, it's too cold. Oh, I'm hungry. Something smells funny. Oh, what's for breakfast? All these things that the mind comes up with. But when we learn from mantra meditation to focus our awareness on the mantra itself, on the sound vibration. Every time a thought arises, we recognize that the thought has arisen, but we don't cling on to the thought, we don't follow the thought, we bring ourselves right back to the mantra. We do this over and over and over again. It's a training of the mind. This takes you throughout your day. You don't just stop with your 16 rounds. You also take this with you and when you do your service, when you do your seva. I continue to chant all throughout my day when I'm doing seva. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And whenever a thought arises that's distracting me, I recognize that it's there. I don't follow it. I bring myself back to the mantra. When one begins to do this and takes control of their mind like this, their mind becomes their best friend. This is the real process. There's real peace involved. When you actually sincerely focus and make a real sincere effort each and every day to be absorbed in the Maha Mantra all throughout your day, from the time you wake up to the time you fall back asleep. Do you be absorbed in it? Every time that you have these distracting thoughts arise, you recognize it, but you don't follow the thoughts. You bring yourself back to the mantra. And after patience and time of training the mind, it becomes a very natural state to where even when you're falling asleep at night, when your mind is quiet, you could still hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When your mind gets to that state where that's the natural position it wants to be in, it's not trying to divert back to sense enjoyment, everything starts becoming nectar. Also, service becomes nectar. I enjoy washing pots and pans in the kitchen. I enjoy cleaning. I enjoy cooking. All these things that used to be mundane tasks before Krishna consciousness used to annoy me. Used to be impatient. Used to get upset. You know, look at the time. I was like, oh gosh, is this ever going to end? But with Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga, especially the Maha Mantra, becomes fully absorbed in it. You could find a fulfilling sense of peace all throughout your day. A fulfillment that you can't get in the material world. Because in the material world, we're disturbed. We're disturbed by all kinds of things, even by our own mind. When we allow our mind to be in control, going after material desires, we're always going to be disturbed. Move on to text 8. Perform your prescribed duty, for action is better than inaction. A man cannot even maintain his physical body without work. Purport. There are many pseudo-meditators who misrepresent themselves as belonging to high parentage and great professional men who falsely pose that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. Lord Krishna did not want Arjuna to become a pretender, but that he perform his prescribed duties as set forth by the Kshatriyas. Arjuna was a householder and a military general, and therefore it is better for him to remain as such and perform his religious duties as prescribed for the householder Satriya. Oh, did I skip a line here? Nope. Okay. Such activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. So-called renunciation for the purpose of maintenance is never approved by the Lord, nor by any religious scripture. After all, one has to maintain one's body and soul together by some work. Work should not be given up I'm sorry. I have a hard time pronouncing certain words. Capriciously, without purification of materialistic propensities. Anyone who is in the material world is certainly possessed of the impure propensity for lording it over material nature, or in other words, for sense gratification. Such polluted propensities have to be cleared. Without doing so through prescribed duties, one should never attempt to become a so-called transcendentalist, renouncing work and living at the cost of others. Yeah, in Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga, Prabhupada has given us a nice, wonderful system. The Maha Mantra, we're begging for service. And it's so nice to become, to fill your life up full of service your entire day. From the morning time you wake up to the time you fall asleep at night, to try to get as much service in as possible. Try not to have any downtime, any time that's for sense enjoyment. And that is all possible, by controlling the mind with the Maha Mantra. Everything becomes enjoyment. You find yourself being able to work very long hours in service and still and still be ready for more. It's nice. Text 9. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds one to this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and that way you will always remain unattached and free from bondage. Purport. Since one has to work even for the simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duties of particular social position and quality are so made that the purpose can be fulfilled. Yajna means Lord Vishnu, or sacrificial performances. All sacrificial performances are meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. The Vedas enjoin yajna by Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore a performance of yajna as is prescribed in this verse. The Varnashram's institution also aims at this for satisfying Lord Vishnu. From Varnashramacharya Vakta Parashachena Para Puna Vishnu Ardeyate. Vishnu Purana 3.8.8. Therefore, one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world would be the cause of bondage. For both good and evil work have their reactions, and any action binds the performer. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. And while performing such activities, One is one is in a liberated stage. This is a great art of doing work, and in the beginning of this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna, under the direct instructions of Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjuna had the opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from the reactions of work, but will also gradually elevate one to transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. And that's the whole thing. We are transforming our senses from hearing kirtan instead of hearing nonsense, hearing secular music, smelling the flowers offered to Krishna, smelling the prasadam that's been offered to Krishna, smelling the incense that's been offered to Krishna. We're actively engaging our senses. We're creating that next body to be in service to Krishna by tasting the prasadam. We're actively engaging that sense for Krishna's enjoyment. I like to eat with my hands, with my fingers, because I get to feel the prasadam. I get to feel the mercy. Use that sense of touch in Krishna service. So all of our senses are being employed in bhakti yoga for Krishna consciousness and not for material sense enjoyment. So all these things that we used to enjoy in the material world, watching, TV, gosh. I remember I wasted a lot of time in the past watching stupid things on TV. People get emotionally attached to things on TV. They get attached to like their, the Super Bowl, they get, emotionally attached to these things. Movies, sitcoms. And there's video games. Oh my gosh, how much time did I waste in my past playing video games? Oh my word. Oh, jeez. Oh. Did you have a question, Prabhu? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought maybe someone was online. But yeah, for some reason, in living with material senses, we enjoy wasting time. Have you noticed that? Material senses, people enjoy wasting time. They watch movies, they play video games. Especially in the present day and age, it used to be, like my grandparents, they had hobbies, things that they actually did with their time. Nowadays, it's turned into video games and movies. So very few people actually have tangible hobbies, crafts that they do. We'll move on to text 10. Is there any questions or comments? We've got a few minutes left to class. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. What was that again?
Can you have these in Krishna consciousness? These in Krishna consciousness, can we have them?
If you're doing it for Krishna service, let's say if you're an artist Are you painting for Krishna? Are you paying Krishna? If you're a crafter, like say sewing, are you making clothes for devotees? That's a service. So yes, hobbies can be be used in Krishna service. And it's in fact, it's something that's been lost in this present day and age as people actually engaged in tangible things to do with their hands. I mean, it's like me, I love cooking. That's a hobby. But I'm using that in Krishna service. It was something that I started from early on. My mom had me baking cakes and cookies at age 7. So it was a lifelong hobby. But now I'm able to use that in Krishna service. So yes, hobbies can be used in Krishna service. Any other questions or comments? Looks like that is our time for today.